Welcome everyone to our newest, most anticipated launch of Q1 2021, One Jarvis, happening in downtown Hamilton. And today we're going to give you a sneak preview of the launch that is going to happen on February 20th. So the sales center is not open yet, but it will be opening up next week, and we're going to get the information for you today. So stay tuned. Welcome everyone to the new One Jarvis presentation center that I can give you a sneak preview at today. This center is not open yet and will be opening on February 20th. And if you're interested, contact us for more details. We'll be launching it next week. But here what you see in front of you is the new One Jarvis building, which will be in downtown Hamilton, 15 stories tall and 350 units in total. So every unit in this building will come with its own private balcony. There will be a fitness center, a yoga studio, a lounge and a co-working lounge, a beautiful lobby and a lounge area there as well. The finishes in this building are absolutely immaculate and they all come standard. You're gonna have your quartz countertops, your stainless steel appliances included, and this is the color combination of one of the kitchens. And then the second color combination you have is right over here. And the washroom finishes with floor to ceiling tile as well as frameless shower doors. All comes included as standard. And when you come into the presentation center, we can show you all the details of the project, basically to do with the area, the community that it's in. It's basically surrounded by downtown Hamilton. You are literally 15 minutes away from the waterfront. You're 10 minutes away from McMaster University. So I feel location-wise, it is actually very well situated. And then if you keep going, you'll be able to see the interiors like we mentioned. And then we've got a little bit about the community. So overall, I'm very excited for One Jarvis, as I think it's the best opportunity to get into the ground stages of what downtown Hamilton is soon to become. With the $500 million investment from the city, another $140 million going into revitalizing the waterfront of Hamilton, and another $400 million by Bell Infrastructure. There's no wonder that in 4 or 5 years, Hamilton downtown is not going to look like what it does today. And One Jarvis is situated in the perfect spot because you're only 15 minutes away from the waterfront, you're only 10 minutes away from McMaster University. Walking distance, you literally have everything at your fingertips, from grocery to shopping to restaurants. You can literally have it all, and there's tons of galleries that are opening up there and that have existing entertainment as well. And not to mention the price point of One Jarvis is so attractive. Nowhere in the GTA or even slightly outside are you gonna find this price point, starting at $350,000 only, where 80% of the building is gonna be priced less than $500,000, which means you can even get some 2 bedrooms that are priced less than $500,000, which is unheard of. So we are very excited to launch this project. Your deposit structure is going to most likely be 15% within a year, year and a half, with the last 5% at occupancy. So on an example, average unit of $400,000, you're only putting $60,000 to $65,000 down, which is extremely affordable to get into the first phase. Now this same project, when it launches and it does new releases in the future, the price will go up for it here. So if you're interested, contact us today and contact us ASAP to get more details and get on the wait list, as we are launching February 18th, first day for One Jarvis. Well, good afternoon, everyone. We are so excited to tell you about one of the most anticipated launches of 2021, Q1, One Jarvis. And today I am here at the sales center of Emblem Development, and we are having a one-on-one meeting with the owner himself, Mr. Pashootan. And we are so excited to present these opportunities to you and give you a sneak preview of the launch before it's happening. And the official launch date, keep it down and write it down, is going to be February 18th of next week. And at this time, I would love to introduce Mr. Pashootan. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for this as well. That was very nice of you. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Great to be with you today.
Well, it's a pleasure meeting you, and we are so excited to represent one of your newest developments in Hamilton. But before we get into the details of that, we would love for you to share with our investors a little bit about your background. I know you've done superbly well in the financial world, managed billions of dollars of wealthy individuals' money and helped them grow. How did you get from there to development? Tell us a little bit about your history.
Sure, yeah. So as you pointed out, I've been managing investment portfolios for wealthy families now for almost 25 years. And in doing that, we essentially spend our time uncovering opportunities in different asset classes, in the stock market, in the bond market, in the real estate market. And so Emblem is a very natural business for us, given that we've been in the business of uncovering opportunities for about 25 years now. Emblem is the private equity arm of First Avenue, and so we focus on residential buildings. And for me, personally speaking, it's actually very sort of interesting because I get to marry my passion and background in finance, numbers, and investment and managing risk with my creative side. And that's really what you see with every Emblem project, is that myself and the team really focus on bringing something to market that's special, in that there's a very high degree of attention to detail, focus on quality, and exceptional design.
That's excellent. What about a little bit about your past projects you've done and what stage of construction they're in, and possibly your pipeline that's to come?
Certainly, yeah. So one of the advantages that Emblem has is that it's backed by First Avenue, the investment management firm. First Avenue manages approximately $1 billion in Canadian liquid cash. And so when Emblem's looking at a development project, whether it's a site or the actual building, it's very advantageous because of that capital. It gives Emblem deep financial backing for everything that it does. And so when you look at our designs, our renderings, when you look at the consultants that we work with, from the architect to the interior designer, Emblem is able to, because it has the financial resources, to really work with the best in the industry for every facet of it. And that, of course, extends to looking at even the team internal to Emblem. If you look at our executive team, our VP of development has spent over 20 years doing high-rise development in the Toronto area for one of the largest developers before we recruited it. Our VP of construction was the former VP of construction for Brookfield Multiplex, one of the largest in the world. So the depth of team that Emblem has, because of the backing of First Avenue, is significant. And that capital also allows us to have a very active pipeline. In fact, Puja, I would share with you that Emblem today has one of the most active pipelines of any developer in the GTA. We have 24 months, so the next 2 years of launches already booked, consisting of projects in Hamilton, Mississauga, downtown Toronto, Leaside. So there's going to be some very exciting announcements coming up. And with One Jarvis, really what's exciting about it is, we're going to talk more about that, I'm sure, about the Hamilton area and why it makes sense from an investment perspective. But what's really special about One Jarvis is that whether you're an investor or you're an end user, it really does check all of the boxes. Often buildings or projects are more investor driven or end user driven. And this is a project where we've been able to really find an opportunity for both end users and investors.
No, that's excited. We are very excited for this project. I know you've had really good success with the Art Forum project in Mississauga. You've done tons of buildings in Ottawa, Toronto. So now what was so special about Hamilton, and why Hamilton as your next project?
Yeah, so just as we get there in terms of pipeline, you'd asked, so we currently have 4 buildings under construction as we speak, and we have about 15 buildings under development. And in terms of these markets that we're involved in, we're in Ottawa, we're in Mississauga, we're in Hamilton, we're in downtown Toronto, we're in Leaside. And out of all of these communities, Puja, where we see the greatest opportunity is in Hamilton. And for us, spending the last 25 years uncovering investment opportunities in different asset classes, we know what it looks like, what it feels like, what it tastes like to land on a opportunity with large, significant growth potential. And we see that in Hamilton. And there's a few reasons for that. I would say to you that the main reason is the unprecedented amount of government investment that's going into Hamilton. As you know, the numbers break down to $500 million going right into the downtown area. This is exactly right in the middle of where One Jarvis is situated. There's another $140 million going to rejuvenate the waterfront. So you're in excess of $600 million, and anytime the government makes that kind of investment, it attracts others. So we've learned recently that Bell Canada is making a $400 million investment. So this is something that's very real. This is something that's happening in real time, and we're able to capture it at the early stages. And what we know from our investing experience is that anytime you have the opportunity to invest alongside the government, you tend to do very well. So we're very excited about Hamilton. It was on deck for a few years, but now with this significant capital coming in from the government, it really is a game changer. And so for us at Emblem, not only do we see One Jarvis as being a great opportunity and Hamilton being a great opportunity, so much so that we've used our balance sheet to strategically acquire other development sites right within the downtown core where we see the greatest opportunity. So as we speak, in addition to One Jarvis, we have approximately 1 million square feet of residential development happening within a 5-minute walk from One Jarvis. So buyers of One Jarvis are truly buying in at the first launch, at the first stage, which is great because as you and I know, every future building means the prices are going to go higher and higher and higher. I can tell you our next launch in Hamilton is not going to be at these prices. It's going to be higher. So every building that we release and every building that other developers release, it continues to provide appreciation potential for those that got in early, such as buyers of One Jarvis.
Exactly, and that makes it very exciting for our investors, right, to get into the ground stage. And not only that, what I find very interesting about One Jarvis is that capital investment by the government. Like what you mentioned, $500,000 just in the city, the entertainment core itself, and then another $140 million just to rejuvenate the waterfront. Like Hamilton, I feel in the next 5-6 years is not going to look like the Hamilton today. And that's the vision that you have to see, and that's where you have that opportunity to invest right now before you see what it's going to look like in 5-6 years. So I'm excited for that. That's very good.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
That's why the buildings that we develop, well, partly because of the Emblem brand, but also you can see that this building is designed, it could be put in downtown New York City, in Manhattan, in downtown Toronto, because we really see Hamilton growing to that. And partly because that's just the way we do things at Emblem. We raise the standard for any community that we go into.
Yeah, no, the design is absolutely beautiful. I know even with your art form project, like everything was super modern, very sleek. Like you said, you can equally put it into a downtown, that same building in downtown, and it'd be worth a lot more money because of the area code there, but you're getting all those things as standard in a project such as Mississauga or Hamilton, which is great. So let me ask you the next question. What makes One Jarvis unique compared to, say, competition projects that are in and around the area? What makes One Jarvis unique?
Well, the first thing I would say is any Emblem product, when you see the Emblem name, you know that you're going to get exceptional design. We're obsessed with how we design these suites, the amenity spaces, the building. And look, the truth of it is the principals at Emblem have very good taste. We work with the best consultants in the industry, but we're so hands-on. We don't just hire a great consultant, a great interior designer, and just leave it in their hands. Because we're so passionate about design, we're involved in every facet of the building. I mean, this is why I'm here with you today, because we really put our heart and soul in what we do. And it's not just a business for us, it really is our pride and our own brand. So when you look at an Emblem project, whether it's our marketing materials or it's the branding, even the font that we use to design a building, if you look at One Jarvis or Artform, every single detail of the project, from the most basic to the most complex part of the project, it just looks and feels a little different than what's out there. And that's really a testament to our attention to detail, our attention to quality. So this building, first things I would say is that it will set a new standard. It will be the highest standard of any residential building in Hamilton. You see it from the outside of the building all the way through the inside into the suites. When you look at the outside of the building, you'll notice that there's no stucco that's used on this building. It's brick, stone, glass, materials that you would find in a much higher price point building. Right. And then that carries forward all the way into the inside. You know, for example, the suites, our standard finish in this project is floor to ceiling windows. You have European design kitchens for every suite. The backsplash is not tile, it's full slab, full stone slab, so you don't see the grout marks. It's a full seamless slab that matches the countertops. So when you look at the kitchen, you have a completely seamless design with the stone. When you walk into the bathrooms, for example, there's no curtain in the shower, but more importantly, the glass. We buy higher quality, more expensive glass that's thicker and allows for that glass to not have to sit in a standard metal shoe to support it. It's frameless. Right. And why does that matter? Well, that matters because when you walk into an Emblem unit within One Jarvis, you won't have that metal line obstructing your line of sight. It creates a more open, more airy feeling. It's all of these details that buyers get when they see the Emblem name, and they will all be present in the One Jarvis building. So you look at the quality and the finishes, the fact that every unit has a balcony or a terrace, you combine that with the location that we have here, and truly as a package, it's the reason why we say One Jarvis is 2021's best investment.
I absolutely agree with that, and I'm so happy that you guys focus so much on design, because sometimes you go into buildings and you're like, oh, why did they do this? You know, it just doesn't make sense. And I feel with your, with the detail that you guys have given, it does make a true difference at the end. And especially for people who are buying pre-construction, you can't see that because you're buying it basically off of floor plans. But when you see the end product, it makes a huge difference. So I'm happy to hear that. And we are very excited to launch this project. And what I kind of summarize for our investors as well as our end users is three main reasons that One Jarvis stands out to me, at least. Number one, like I mentioned, is the capital investment that the government's doing, right? The $500,000 the city's putting into the entertainment hub, $140 million waterfront, and then Bell Canada is putting another $400 million into infrastructure. So Hamilton is not going to be like the Hamilton that we see today. Number two, Emblem Developments, like you said, Mr. Pashootan, you guys have a huge financial backing, and that makes us comfortable. My family has also invested in one of your projects, and I only feel comfortable putting our money where I feel comfortable that the building's going to go forth with construction and actually completion as well. So with your financial backing, and what really kind of, I guess, held heart to me was that you've got enough money, no matter what happens with COVID, no matter what happens with mortgage interest rates, you've got enough backing behind you to finish these projects to completion without a dollar borrowed from the banks. And that's honestly gold, right? Like that is very important to investors and end users, because you want to make sure the project's going to be completed. So I'm very happy to hear that. And the third thing is the pricing. Before we get into that, I know it's going to be released on the 18th. Is there any sneak preview you can give to our clients of what to kind of expect?
Well, the first thing I'll say, Puja, given that we do have a close working relationship with you and your team, and that you're a platinum broker with Emblem, you will obviously have first access, and your buyers, your clients will have first access to our launch pricing. And of course, the launch pricing at the absolute lowest pricing that this project will ever be. And so what I can share with you today in terms of pricing that's exciting is these luxury finishes that we spoke about will be standard in every suite, the largest to the smallest suite. And that package will be delivered with a starting point of mid 300s. So it's very exciting because in terms of affordability, but without compromise on luxury and with quality finishes, it really, like I said, whether it's an investor or an end user, it checks all of the boxes. The other thing I would say is that there won't be just a handful of units in the mid 300s and then everything else is twice the price.
Right.
About 80% of our units will be under 500,000. So this is really going to be exciting for investors, for buyers to be able to buy 1 or 2 units and really position themselves well for the upcoming growth of Hamilton and their investment in this building. Those are, I think, the 2 main things is that the price point is in the mid 300s and that about 80% of the building will be in the 500,000 or less range. And I think that's the key here is that it will be accessible whether you're a first-time buyer or you're an empty nester, whether you're an investor or you're buying for your end use. It's very exciting. We talked about Artform and the success of Artform. The building that we're designing here and going to build here is going to have the same standard features and finishes as Artform. The difference, so we haven't cut any corners, we haven't pared it back in any way. The reason I bring that up is because buyers will be able to access units at One Jarvis for about $200 less per square foot than in Artform. So for buyers, they could see a natural path to appreciation in their investment because there's a proven example being Artform that we could point to that recently sold at $200 more per foot. So we see Hamilton as being very opportunistic, and then you combine that with the location of One Jarvis and with the standard quality luxury finishes that this will have, and really this is why we believe it's a very special package.
Yeah, no, I agree. Thank you so much for the clarification. It makes sense, Artform to One Jarvis, the price point. So we're actually very excited. I think it's a project to look forward to not only now, but I would love to see it come to fruition in 4 to 5 years and see it, up in the downtown scene and being able to enjoy it. But at this time, I would love to, sorry.
I was just going to say that timelines, we have a 2024 completion date, so it'll actually be 3 years. So before you know it, it'll be built. And we're very keen on making sure we deliver on those times. In fact, Artform is already under construction. So it won't be 5 years for One Jarvis. It'll be more in the range of about 3 years. And we want to make sure we get this finished and delivered to buyers as soon as possible.
Even better. So we are super excited. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And it was such a nice pleasure to meet you.
Great to see you.
I hope post-COVID we can actually meet in person.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Take care.